Next item is police commendations, presented by Chief Fagan and Mayor Lowry.
Do you want to say something? Okay. After? Okay. Okay, the first commendation is for Police Officer Rick Conan. On May 23rd, 2019, Officer Conan responded to a call regarding a returned runaway juvenile at Marygrove Residential Facility. While he was en route to the call, he was informed by dispatch that the juvenile had become armed with a hammer and throwing knives. The juvenile was making serious threats of harm to the members of the facility's staff. Upon his arrival, he confronted the distraught youth and recognized him to be the same subject that he had handled in a previous mental health crisis. Since Officer Conan had established a prior rapport with this youth in crisis, he calmly developed a dialogue with him. Officer Conan eventually talked the subject into dropping the hammer, the steel pipe, and throwing knives, and was able to take him into protective custody with no one sustaining any injuries. The subject later admitted that he had stolen the weapons and had several other weapons hidden at Marygrove. Because of the trust Officer Conan gained with the youth, he showed him the locations of the other weapons and was able to transport him to mental health professionals for treatment. Because of your compassionate, caring, calm demeanor, and excellent handling of this mental health crisis, you are hereby officially commended. Officer Phil Busby and Mr. Phil Gere. On May 8th, 2019, Officer Busby was on a routine traffic stop at the McDonald's on Purcell Road in the city of Hazelwood. When he was approached by the manager of the McDonald's restaurant, informed that a patron inside had collapsed. Officer Busby rushed inside to find Mr. Phil Garrett totally unresponsive with no pulse or no respiration. Officer Busby immediately began CPR and continued his life-saving technique until he was relieved by the Hazelwood Fire Department. Mr. Garrett survived the event and was released from the hospital on May 17th. Without his quick reactions and the application of CPR, Mr. Garrett may not have survived. For his quick response, immediate application of life-saving techniques, and his professional conduct in life and death emergency, Officer Busby is officially commended.
Well, we're going to stop a little bit in the middle of our presentation here. I just wanted to take an opportunity, certainly, to tell Mr. Gere how much we appreciate him being here, to honor Mr. Busby, and how happy we are that you're able to be here with us today. So certainly, we're always proud of everything our officers do, and this is a perfect example of quick reaction by Officer Busby, and certainly had a tremendous impact on Mr. Garrett's life. So I'm not sure if you wanted to say anything at all.
Well, obviously, there's no way to really thank you enough for it. Having done CPR myself, I'm sure you did a good job because my ribs hurt for a long time. But I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe bring Officer Conan back. The only thing I want to talk about, sorry. Oh, we have another one. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Police Explorer Sergeant Riley Nilgis. Police Explorer Sergeant Riley Nilgis participated in the 2019 Greater St. Louis Law Enforcement Explorer Academy, where she significantly distinguished herself by being awarded the Best Level 1 Explorer and the Best Physical Training Female Level 1 Participant. Police Explorer Sergeant Nilgis was also recognized as an outstanding student at Hazelwood West High School by maintaining a 3.8 GPA. Police Explorer Sergeant Nilgis was also an outstanding athlete by competing in varsity soccer and softball. During the summer, she was able to work 35 hours per week as a lifeguard and still maintain her required duties for the Explorer post. For her outstanding accomplishments, for presenting the most favorable light on the Florissant Police Department Explorer post, and for her truly professional conduct, you're officially awarded the Certificate of Recognition.
So So much to be proud of this evening. I truly believe we have one of the finest police departments in the entire country, and certainly the finest in the state of Missouri, and I think these officers are a prime example of that. You know, Officer Conan's quick actions in dealing with a very difficult situation with the mentally ill, certainly Officer Busby, as we've already discussed, his life-saving techniques, and then our Explorer post. You know, I think there's a lot of things to be said about the youth of this community. There's a lot of times where they don't get the recognition that they deserve. If everyone would take a look in the front row, you see several members of our Explorer posts that are here this evening in uniform to honor one of their members tonight. We have some of the Explorer advisors as well as the leader of the Explorer post, Sergeant Reese is here, Officer Jackson, Officer Arthur. These are officers that dedicate their time to this program. So again, I think tonight we have a good display of some of the finer parts of the Florissant Police Department. We do a lot with fighting crime. Certainly we do a lot to try to keep the residents safe, but at the same time we do a lot also to help the community, and I think tonight really is a good example of that.
So the only thing that I'd like to add is that, I mean, you look at Officer Busby, Officer Conan, I mean, you talk about 60 years of experience here at the Florissant Police Department. These guys have been here that long. I mean, at least 30 years, I think, for both of them. And, you know, they're still get up every day and do this job because they love it. And that's why they're here. And that's why I say we have one of the best and most loyal and dedicated employees at the Florissant Police Department. Because even after all these years, these guys still care and they still go up and do their job. Gentlemen, I appreciate everything you guys do and everything that you've done for the city of Florissant for over the last 30 years. And of course, our Explorer post, the one thing the chief didn't mention is that he and I grew up in the Explorer post. I joined the Florissant Police Explorers at age 14, and I had a lot of great experiences that prepared me for my 33-year law enforcement career, and that's what many of these young people are looking at, is whether or not that's what they want to do with their career. And I'll tell you what, we take a lot of pride in our Explorer post. We have great Explorers. We have so many officers that have come through the Explorer post and are currently on the police department. I know the chief is, Sergeant Harmon was, no, Arthur was not. But I think there's like 8 or 10 of our police officers currently went through our Explorer post. So we take a lot of pride. Guys, good job, congratulations, and make Florissant proud. Thank you.